Greetings, everyone. Happy full moon. We have a full moon in Capricorn that happened about 15 minutes ago. We are in a new world. It's very exciting to be alive at this time, in my perspective. It's also scary. Oftentimes I feel like, what am I doing? What is happening? And I feel very blessed to have astrology and tools and people that speak the same language that I do, so that I can feel more, aligned than unaligned. And I feel very fortunate because of that I speak the language of the universe. My goodness, barely. I barely speak it. Like I speak broken universe. I speak broken universal language. Greetings from the Netherlands. Full moon blessings, absolutely. If you guys are not a part of my email list, I want to invite you to go to my link tree and sign up for my email, because we're moving into retrograde season, and that is going to be a great part of my conversation. But I will be sending out emails, and as you guys have heard me say, retrogrades are the opportunity to shift our energy in ways that's not available when those planets are direct. A retrograde means that the planet turns around, or the energy turns around, and so you have a chance to go reflect on yourself. And we need this right now, because we are making a tremendous leap from one way of being into another. And the way to get from the old world to the new is through your own consciousness. It's through yourself. And the way to get into yourself is through the planetary relationship that you have, because all of this here is governed by these planetary energies, and those energies abide in you. They are in your body. Mercury rules your mind, Neptune your subconscious, Saturn rules the root in your connection to this earth realm, Jupiter rules your faith, Uranus rules your connection to the higher self. Venus rules your connection to your emotions and your feelings. It's all planetary, y'all. All of it is planetary. So when you're going through something with somebody in your life, like a relationship, that's a Venus issue. When you're having, issues around structure and not being able to stabilize yourself in your life, that's a Saturn issue. When you are not able to move forward and you're stuck in confusion and addiction, that's a Neptune issue. And we have outsourced all of this information as if somebody else can really know what's going on inside of us who's not reading our charts, right? So, and we live in a world that has been contrived by lies and short stories and things that have been designed to simply extract our power. And that time is over with now. So you get to own yourself and own your power. Like, we're moving into the golden age, but you have to do the work to do it. It's not going to just happen by default. It's something that you have to actually put some effort to access. And if you do, the results will be enormous. And if you don't, the results will be tragic, And I am not a naysayer. I'm not a dooms person. You guys know that I don't move that way. We are moving through some of the most profound times that humans have ever lived through. And there's not a lot of information about what we're going through in the collective, but this is a cosmic shift, and it's real, y'all. It's real. When I first started studying, I used to be like, how am I going to say this stuff out loud? People are going to think I'm crazy. Like, people are going to... And I just kept studying and realized that the ages change, and then the human changes, because the energy is what governs the age. The energy is what governs the age. And when that age changes, all of the inhabitants of this reality have to change. And for those of us who are here living through it, the easiest way to access it, and easy is a word that I should be like, how dare I say that? Because it's not easy. But the most accessible way to access the shift is through the planets. There's just no other way. There's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's because the planets are in you. You are projecting the reality out of you that is the configuration of your natal chart. Your natal chart is the code for the reality you live in. I'm going to say that again. Like, the natal chart, your natal chart is the projector of your reality. You are literally projecting a reality. This motherfucking thing that we are in is miraculous. Like, when I start to break it down, I'm like, what? You mean to tell me that my natal chart is the code? Like, just imagine, you know, like a shadow show, right? And they would have like a piece of cardboard, and say they take that cardboard and cut out the pattern of a squirrel. And then they turn out the lights and they put a light behind the cardboard, and what you see on the wall is the squirrel. You see the squirrel on the wall because the squirrel has been cut out of the cardboard. So the light behind it will project the squirrel onto the wall. That is what is happening inside of you. Your natal chart is the configuration of your makeup. And when the light of the sun comes in, it projects your image. Your image. It projects your image based upon your natal chart configuration onto the reality. And everyone in your reality is impacted by it. Everyone. You know, so that's why you can think somebody is an asshole and they have to show up as an asshole. If you think somebody is amazing, they're going to show up as amazing. If you think somebody is better than you, they're going to show up because it is your projection that actually you're living in. It is so fucking miraculous. It is so fucking exciting, like, to understand what this reality really is, and then to realize how much power you have. Like, based upon that, you have so much power. So all you have to do is change the lens, because your natal chart is not fixed. You are, one of the things that I love is, well, your natal chart is fixed in the sense of the configurations that you have to live through before you can free yourself from it. So your natal chart is like the obstacle course of what you have to get through in order to become your truest self. But that is your progress chart. Your progress chart is saying, here are the possibilities for you to blossom into. Here's what's available for you. But you have to do certain things and be certain ways and transform certain in order for that to even become available to you. And if you do, I mean, wow. So that's what this new age is. The new age is you either living in your old codes or traversing them, alchemizing them, and becoming your most highest self. And that's what my work is. My work is to teach you how to become your most highest self, to provide you with tools, resources, environments, spaces, other people who can assist you in becoming your highest self while you're still alive, while you are still on this side. So today we have a Capricorn full moon, just happened about 20 minutes ago, about 15 minutes ago. The Capricorn energy to me is the most, Scorpio energy is pretty rigorous too, but Capricorn is a very, it's about integrity. It's about integrity, and it's about understanding your cause and effect, understanding your impact on reality, understanding how, it's like me saying, you have to understand that the people in your life are reflections of you. Capricorn is that you need to understand that nothing is happening to you. This is a cause and effect reality. So, this stuff can be harsh. So if you're out with somebody or you're out at night, I'm going to be extreme, and something happens and you experience sexual violence, like, you're in a space and something happens and you experience sexual violence, the first place to go is inside. Not to, oh, that happened to me. The first place to go is, what in me attracted this? And people will say that that's blame. That's responsibility. And that's what Saturn is. It is about taking responsibility. And that looks like taking responsibility for everything. If you were abused as a child, like, what is the karmic patterns around that? Why would I be in a space to be abused as a child, or to suffer these? It could be karma. It could be ancestral trauma. It can be that you need, if you understand, then you never take a victim position in anything. You never do, because you realize this motherfucker is projecting you to you. This is a projection. It's all you. So Capricorn says, are you in integrity, and what are you bringing into the environment? What's the cause and effect? What are you putting out that's coming back? And when you look at what's coming back, you have to go, okay, I'm responsible for that. I just had this very interesting thing. I have lived in the same apartment that I have I've lived here for like 14 or 15 years. I love my apartment. I love the complex that I live in. It used to be owned by a black family, a black man who was a dentist, and then he died. And then he had 2 children who inherited it, and they kept it for a long time. And when I moved in, there was a woman who lived upstairs from me who was 100 years old. That's how much and mostly black and brown people in the space, and it's just a quaint little place. And one of the things that I love so much about it is the managers of the place are a same-sex loving couple, and one of them is from Germany and the other one is from like Mississippi or Oklahoma. And they are the most incredible people. I mean, just everybody in the space is really incredible, but I really love them very, very much. Like the one of the partners is German, and I have listened to him teach himself how to play the cello since COVID. And like, this man can play the cello now. Like, literally, I can be and I'm like, he really taught himself to. But I just love that. I love people and just what they're capable of. So one of the things that's been interesting since I've been living there is that the compound, there are a lot of before then, I had a neighbor who had 2 cats, and I became acquainted with cats, and I was like, wow, these are some interesting beings. Like, one of them would break in my house. He would come through my window, which was hilarious. He would break in my dreams. He would come into my dreams. I was like, what is going on? One of those gray cats with yellow eyes. It was just mind blowing. And then another cat like followed me home one day, and I had some clients who were waiting to see me, and my clients were friendly to the cat, and so the cat came into the courtyard and never left. And before I knew it, that cat was in the house of the woman who had the cat, who breaks into my dreams. And he like kicked that cat out of his position. It was really interesting. I was like, oh, this cat came in and took over. Like, it was really a trip to me. I was like, there's a whole nother world that exists within this reality. It's like a sub-level world that is full of life, and it's the cats. And so, but with that going on, there was always like complaints, like there's cat poop everywhere and da da da. And my landlord, or the managers of the keepers of the space, were the woman who I lived next to, who had the cats. She would be like, he doesn't like me because of the cats, and he doesn't like the cats, and all the cats, and there's poop. And then we had a garden, and the cats would be pooping, and it was just a thing, right? So now I have cats, and my cats want to be outside. And I have been seeing in the last few days poop everywhere. Now, there are a gang of cats around, but now that my cats are there, I feel really responsible. And I was just like, what am I going to do? Because I could feel myself being like, well, your cats have litter box. You know, your cats are pooping in the litter box. But it doesn't look like that, because there's cat poop everywhere. And my cats even though there are other cats there, they don't really live there. And my cats are seen by everyone. And I literally was like, then you got to pick up the shit. you got to pick up the litter box. You have to do it. So this is the Saturn stuff. This is the Capricorn stuff. This is the responsibility stuff. It was like, I'm going to just take responsibility for it. And because that just feels like the way to soothe the energy. So yesterday I ordered a big pooper scooper, and there was already some cat poop around. I picked up some cat poop, and then I let all the people, and we have a text stream together, talking so fast that I just sent a text, saying, hey y'all, I'm going to take care of the cat poop. And, so if you see it and I haven't seen it, let me know. But every day I will go out and scoop up the cat poop, because I want my cats to be loved in the space. I want my cats, I don't want people looking at my cats like, you know what I mean? Or, oh, there's all this cat. I want there to be appreciation for my kitties, because they are queens. And I mean, I am in service to them. You know what I mean? I really am. Like, I really love being in care of them. And they get on my nerves. Both things are true. Both things can be true at the same time. They get on my nerves. My aunt is up at 4:15 every morning, meowing, trying to get out. She don't want to be in the house. I mean, it's just, and so it's, it's all of that. It's all of that. And I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I'm here for it. So that's Capricorn energy. It's literally like, what's the value of you in your environment? How are you participating in your environment? What's your cause and effect? What's your karma? And it's such an interesting thing that I would be picking up the poop. And many years ago, I had a dream, and I have a good friend who's a dream interpreter. And I had a dream that I had gone to the bathroom, number 2, and I was like picking through my own stool, and it was so gross to me, and I was like, ugh. So I called him. I'm like, telling him the dream, and he's like, oh yeah, that's a really great dream. That means you're gonna make things from your own creations. You're going to create a life based upon what comes through you. And I was like, wow, what a really great dream. Like, that's what he was like, yeah, it's root stuff. Like, Saturn governs the root. Saturn governs our root chakra. Like I said, the planets are all inside of us. Saturn governs the root. The moon and Venus govern the second chakra. The sacral chakra is governed by the sun. Sometimes people say it's governed by Jupiter. The heart chakra is governed by, some people say Mercury. I think it's governed by Mercury, but other people say Venus. Some people even say the sun. The throat chakra, it's also a very Mercury chakra. The first eye chakra, Jupiter, but some people say the moon, and then the crown, some people say the sun. So all of this energy is inside of you. And so basically what he was telling me was that I was going to make a living from things that come from my root. And that's why I do the classes and the retrograde books, because I dare say I discovered this stuff, because I did not. But I will say that the work that I create, I haven't sourced it from anyone else. It has come through me. It's spirit, though. It's spirit. It's not me. It's not the ego, Monique. It's the higher self that knows that I'm born for this. I'm born at this time to assist people across the bridge from the old self to the new self. And I happen to know that the way to do it is through the planetary experience, through your natal chart, through the retrogrades. That's how to get there. You get there through you. And that's through Saturn. That's through taking responsibility. That's through understanding cycles. That's through mastering your emotions. All of that is Saturn stuff. It's in the root, and it's Capricorn. So the new moon, the full moon came in at the 18th degree, which is a Virgo degree, which I'm really grateful for. But that means that there's a lot of shedding that has to happen. There's one of the things that's been interesting for me in my journey, I've been doing this work for so long. There've been times when I've been so deeply immersed in it, and it takes me over, because I live in this subconscious place and in this planetary experience, that my language, to develop this language, I've had to be immersed in it. So much so that I have assumed that everybody's in it. And then I come out in the world and I'm like, oh, the world is still the same. Shit, you know? And I think I believed that as I was going through it, everyone, but really I was being trained so that I could help others through it. And that is, you know, and this work has been rigorous. It's been very deep. It's been very intense. It's been ancestral work, healing trauma work, sexual healing, like everything, because the body remembers everything. The body is holding all of this information, and we have to go inside of ourselves. And so because I've done it, I know how it works, I know how to do it, I can teach others. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful. And I will say that it is rewarding work, but it is challenging work. It is really challenging. I have had to change every part of my life. Every part of my life has been transformed. And what I can say, that the secret to it is intention. It doesn't matter what your life looks like. If you have an intention to transform and you are sincere, intention and sincerity, the universe will meet you, because you are programmed for this transformation. If you are alive on the planet now, you are programmed, encoded with what you need for this transformation. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter the people you know. It doesn't matter any of it. It's in you. You don't have to go anywhere for it. It is inside of you. So go sign up for my email list so that you guys can be on my email list and get the emails. Like I just sent out an email today about Neptune retrograde, and I sent out a questionnaire with it, and I sent out, you know, tools that people can use to help reprogram this information, because we're here. I remember when I first really devoted myself to the work, because I always knew I was going to be doing this work, but I didn't really know when and how and all that sort of stuff, because no one was doing it. So I remember when I said, okay. And I was 47 when it happened. And 47 is how old my mother was when she died. So when I turned 47, I was like, oh, fuck. But I was 29 when my mother died. My mother died in my Saturn's return. So when I turned 47, I was like, I'm the age my mother was when she died. Fuck. Like, what is that? And that was the changing point for me. That was the point where I was like, okay, it's time for you to get really serious about what you're up to and who you're here to be, because your time is going to run out. Like you've hit a marker now. And that was when that's when I was like, okay. And, you know, so I started doing work. I had a class called Finding Our Mothers, Finding Our Fathers, to heal the patterns around what we took in from our mothers, to heal the patterns around what we took in from our fathers. I offered that class for years to people. You know, maybe 100 people took it, but that class was available for years for people to really begin to do the work to unpack those relationships, because those are the core relationships that will support you in progressing or not. You know, I still have that class available, and I might bring it back at some point. But that work is very anchored in the Saturn retrograde. So the Saturn retrograde workbook is available now, and you can get that on my Linktree. And that Saturn workbook, the Saturn stuff, helps you for the root, which is your parents. So if you do the Saturn retrograde work, which Saturn retrograde starts like July 17th all the way to December 9th. It's a very slow process, because Saturn is not in a motherfucking hurry. Saturn is going to make you be patient, and you ain't going nowhere fast. And Saturn is now going to be in Aries. So while Saturn is retrograding back into Pisces, we can still do some ancestral work before it comes back into Aries around, you know, January or so. And because when it gets back in Aries, it's game over, y'all. Like literally, Saturn in Aries is retribution, because it's about your karma with yourself. It's yourself. And just last night, I was doing some work and recognizing, like, just that I've had so much money stuff, like my stuff around value. It's not about money. It's about value, understanding my value. and not conforming and not being how other people think I should be and being true to myself. And had this memory of when I was a little girl, I stole some money out of my grandmother's purse. And I swear to God, I feel like that's exactly why I have had money challenges. Like, I literally am like, you stole that money all that time ago. And I've never forgotten it. So last night I went and did some recoding of my imagination of my historical self, and created an experience where I go into my grandmother in my imagination and say to her that I would like some money, but more than that, I would like for her to teach me how to make money. And my grandmother was a chef, and so she teaches me how to make peanut butter cookies, which was my favorite thing that she used to make. She used to come home with peanut butter cookies all the time. She teaches me how to make peanut butter cookies. We make the peanut butter cookies together, all in my imagination, so that I could reprogram that experience that I had that my body still remembers, and the shame that I'm still carrying around stealing money out of my grandmother's purse. So reprogram that. We make the cookies, we pack them all up in a pretty thing, and then I go sell them to my neighbors. Now, mind you, this was 1980 something. So I sell 5 cookies for 75 cents, because that was a time frame, right? Like, now 5 cookies will cost you $3 in LA, but then, it was like 75 cents or $1. And I go to every neighbor in my imagination and knock on their door, and they're like, hey, Monique, and I'm like, oh, I'm selling cookies, and I give them the cookies, and they give me the money, and they all sign up for more. My phone just rang, so I hope you guys can still hear me. You can still hear me. Let me know if you can still hear me. Give me a heart if you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? Thumbs up or no? Because my phone rang, and sometimes on my phone. Okay, great. So all of my neighbors buy cookies that me and my grandmother made, and I make money. And then I literally have an imagination of me. I have an imagination where I go to my grandmother and I'm like, okay, and I want to give her some money. My grandmother would never. She was just, and she goes, no, you don't owe me anything. And so then I have an imagination where I go into her purse and give her money. And give her some money. And transform my body and transform the memories. That's how we do it. That's how we get free. It's one of the ways. So, today with this Capricorn full moon, you have to think about your life, how you're taking responsibility for it, how you are showing up, the impact you're having, whether that be positive impact or negative impact. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you want to have the impact that you want to have. You don't want your energy to be tied up in things that don't serve you. And so you have to do the work. You have to do the work to free yourself, and it's available, and you can do it. So with that, I am so grateful for you all. I love you all so very much. Go check out the Mercury Retrograde Workbook. That starts on the 12th. There's a Mercury Retrograde Workbook, a Saturn Workbook, and then there's also a Venus Workbook, but it's not a retrograde book. The Venus Workbook is to build your self-love, to begin to cultivate more self-love. Look at this cute doggy. Look at this little fancy doggy. What a little fancy thing. What a fancy little doggy. So cute. Anyway, and so you can find them all on at my website, or on my Gumroad. You can find them there, or you can go and book your natal chart reading so that you can begin to understand your own code and what you're projecting into reality. I'm here. I'm here to support you. Check out my website, healwithmoonmama.com. And happy full moon in Capricorn. What a cutie. Peace and blessings, everyone. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.